fans, and Merry Christmas 2022 to all of you. Got a video here that we've kind of been working on all year throughout 2022. Had an idea to do a train every month for the calendar year of 2022. Took them all from the cemetery. Tried to get all manifest trains. Actually, we did get all manifest trains. That was our goal at the beginning of the year. Just kind of wanted to be able to see what the change in seasons look like month to month. We tried to get them all from the same filming location within the cemetery, but that didn't quite work out. Some are going to be northbound, some are going to be southbounds. A couple times we're at different points in the cemetery, but still pretty interesting to see the change in scenery. So first up here we've got Q513. This was all the way back on January 2nd, 2022. It's making its way south through the cemetery, coming from Avon, Indiana, down to Nashville's Radnor Yard. Got a lead locomotive up front, a 3257, an ET44AH. Gonna have a DPU 865, an ES44AH. As we go through this video, there are a couple trains that were really interesting. The most interesting one, I think, for me was the October train. Had a really interesting car on it. Unfortunately, wanted to make kind of a highlight video of it alone, but it was the only manifest I actually filmed at the cemetery the whole month, so it wound up having to be dedicated to this project. So hope you guys enjoy this. Again, Merry Christmas. Or if you're seeing this in between Christmas, New Year's, hope you guys have a Happy New Year. We'll be posting pretty regularly throughout January. Got a lot of older footage from 2022 that we're going to get out there. And so we'll be check back in quite often. I'll step out, be back with February's train momentarily. Alright, here we are now in February. This is February 6th to be exact. When the year first started out, the goal was to try to get them as close to the first of the month as we could. Most months we made that happen. There were a couple months that it was more towards the middle of the month. But this is Q502. It's making its way north through the cemetery, headed up to Chicago's clearing yard. Had two lead locomotives, 406, which is a CW44AC in the YN2 paint scheme, and then you have 5460 right behind that, an ES40DC. So as you can see here, nice sunny day for February, but that grass is still dormant and no leaves yet on the trees. So be back in a couple minutes with the update from March. Alright, here we are back exactly 1 month later. This is March 6th. This is Q500, making its way north to Chicago's Bar Yard, led up by two ES44AHs, 3136 and 3220. So we're starting to see a little bit of change here. It's a drearier day than it was back in February, but definitely starting to see some spark of life in that grass. Getting a little bit of green as we head towards spring. back again on April 3rd. This is Q513, making a southbound run from Avon, Indiana into Nashville's Radnor Yard. Led up by 820, which is an ES44AH. And then it's going to have 572 as a mid-train DPU, a CW44AH. So here we're starting to see some leaves form. Got a little more green in the grass, and if you were listening carefully before the train locomotives got to us, heard quite a bit of birds chirping. So definitely signs of spring, well in effect, and we'll be back momentarily with the update from May. So how's this for a transition? Now we're back on May 15th, so we got about 42 days in between these two films. This one and the one we just saw before. Much more green in the grass, and look at all the leaves in the trees. Back in the April update, just starting to get some leaves growing, but amazing what a difference those 40 days made, or 42 days made. Here we got Q500. It's a daily manifest going from Radnor Yard up to Chicago's Bar Yard. Got 2 liters, 3131 and ES44AH, and 5376 and ES40DC. Alright, now we move forward just around 19 days to June 4th. Another Q500 making its way up to Bar Yard. Got 2 CW44AC liters, 409 and 216. This was on the northern end of the cemetery, so our first one where we weren't set up on that same southern side we normally are. But definitely can see that we're well into summer, or getting close to summer now. Totally green grass except for some of the dirt spots there, and leaves fully in bloom. So another month forward, now July 3rd. This is M574 making its way north from Nashville's Radnor Yard up to Cincinnati's Queensgate Yard. This one we counted at least 7 different fallen flags amongst the train, so lots of interesting cars on this one. Again, another train we wanted to make kind of a feature video of, but happen to be the best example of a manifest one to save for this. We had a couple leaders, two ES44AHs, 3227 and 3237. Going to have two more mid-train, a CW44AC in the YN2 paint scheme, 346, and then we're going to have an ES44AH 3124. As we can see here, now that we're in the heat of summer in July, starting to get a lot more dormant areas of grass. Not nearly as green and plush as it was in May and June. See a lot of areas there from heat, just where the grass is starting to get overheated. And let's fast forward another month, right around 33 days to August 6th. This one's M575, a southbound, coming through the cemetery. It's coming from Cincinnati's Queensgate Yard. It's got an ES44AH and ET44AH up front, 3163, 3259. Got a couple interesting mid-train DPUs, 288, a CW44AC in the YN2 paint, and 4552, an SD70AC in the YN3C website scheme. So one thing I've definitely noticed here, starting to get a little more green back in the grass. We'd had some rain in July, late July, that helped out. But the most interesting thing about this scenery to me is that it appears that there are hills between each of the rows of grave markers, and that's not the case. I think that as they did their landscaping through the year, they typically use a weed eater to get in between the stones side to side. Looks like maybe they went a little deep with it, created some dirt patches, some dead spots, and it gave the appearance that there is actually little mounds between each row. Something I didn't notice in the other months of the year, at least so far. So kind of interesting to see that. Alright, here we are, September 16th, so we're going to go forward about 40 days. Starting to get into fall. Still got quite a bit of leaves in the trees. Still mostly green grass. You do get a little bit of that same sense we got in the earlier one with the lines in between the grave markers there, but not nearly as exaggerated because darker part of the day. This was pretty late in the day when I caught this one. Again, it's M573 coming south out of Queensgate in Cincinnati. It's got 7016 up front, a CM44AC was X locomotive 88. Going to have two in the mid, ES40DC 5467 and an ET44AH 3314. Alright, now we're going to move forward a few more weeks. We're at October 9th. Got M574 making its northerly run from Radnor Yard up to Cincinnati's Queensgate. Got 2 leaders. 7505 is a CM44AH rebuilt out of locomotive 580. Got the YN3C website paint. 3357 was behind it, an ET44AH. And then we're going to have a mid-train DPU of 726, an ES44AH. This is the train that I talked about in the opening segment. To me, this was one of the more interesting cars that I saw on a train all year. So we get near the very end of the train. Right at the rear is going to be a furnace car from a steel mill. This particular one had the markings for AK Steel, which was an old steel mill up in the Cincinnati area that has been closed and out of business for some time. So I'm not sure where it was going. I asked some questions on Facebook at the time. I had never seen anything like it, but could tell right away it was for something that traditionally was very hot, and was told that this was the car or a car that is used at steel mills around the country to move the molten steel from the furnaces to other areas of the plant. They're generally kept on site at the plants, moved around by a switcher unit of some sort. So again, not sure if it was getting repaired, rebuilt somewhere. Definitely had an old look to it. So look for that at the end of the train. Really cool. Again, we're here in October, so we're starting to get closer to winter. Changing of colors in the leaves, a loss of a lot of leaves, and starting to see some dormancy there in the grass. Alright, from that last video, we've only moved forward about 21, 22 days here. Went from October 9th to November 1st. This is M574. It's making its way north out of Radnor up to Cincinnati's Queensgate Yard. 3 liters, 984 an ES44AH, 459 a CW44AH in the YN2 paint, and 49 a CW44AC. Big change in the weather here. All the grass is now dormant. Still have quite a bit of leaves on the trees, but they have all changed colors. Very few green ones up there. So big change. Got one more video to come here after this one. Will be in December. It's going to look pretty strikingly close to where we started off the year in January. So we'll be back in just a minute to talk about that train. And here we are in December. This is December 4th. We got M503 making its southern run out of Chicago's clearing yard down to Radnor. 2 liters, 4574 at SD70AC rebuild out of original locomotive 774, and 3072 in ES44AH. So again, the grass looks strikingly close to where we were back in January when this video started. Still got some leaves on the trees. They've totally changed colors at this point, the ones that are left. Lots of the trees you see there have completely lost their leaves. And by the time we get to January 2nd of 23, it should be completely spun around and look like the opener did in this video. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. It's been an interesting project for us all year. Kind of an idea we got back in February, I'll say. And so we held back one of the January videos, and then we just held a manifest back each month. A couple months that there were a lot going on and we didn't get to film much locally, that I had to rush out and make sure we got at least one manifest out there at the cemetery for. So glad it came together. It's been an enjoyable project to work on, hopefully enjoyable to some of you out there. And thank you for all your support this year. Had a great 2022. Channel grew larger, more subscribers, more watch hours, more views than we did in 2021. And really, you know, at the end of the day, that's all we can ask for, is that we can find people who enjoy the videos and like watching them and just get a little bit bigger each year. So thanks to all of you. Love the support. Gonna try in 2023 to get a few more videos out there than we did in 22. Didn't get nearly as many posted as we would have liked. And get back to trying to read all of your comments. And I keep reading them all. Shouldn't say read them all. I always read them all. I just don't get a chance to respond to as many of them as I'd like to. So we'll definitely be working on that in 23. Again, it's Christmas Eve, about 10 o'clock at night as I'm working on this. So Merry Christmas to all of you out there. If I don't get another video up before the new year, wish you all a happy new year. And we'll talk more in 2023. Thanks for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click on the thumbs up below to give us a like. Also, please click on the rusty Boxcar logo on the right side of the screen to get a subscription to the channel. And send us a comment. Really enjoy reading all your comments, and I try to respond to each one of them. Thanks, and have a nice day.